Here comes a breath before we get a little bit closer. Here comes a rush before we touch. Come a little closer.
Tegan and Sara, who are hanging out with me, talking about fan tattoos and all kinds of crazy goodness. Tell us a little bit about the album. What can we look forward to?
Well, you know, this is our 7th record. Sara and I have been making music since we were teenagers, and this is, you know, basically, you know, our foray into making something that's a lot more poppy than we have in the past. But I think all of our songs have always had sort of a pop voicing to it anyway, and I think Sara and I have been influenced a lot by, you know, mainstream culture and pop music from the 80s and 90s and now the 2000s. I mean, we both love Rihanna and Alicia Keys, but we also listen to a lot of Tom Petty, and we also listen to a lot of electronic music. I mean, we've collaborated with David Guetta and Tiesto and Morgan Page and all these other amazing artists in the last few years, and I think all of those influences all came together on this record. And Heartthrob is, I mean, there's lots of really fun stuff on it, like Closer, and there's a track called Drove Me Wild that I think people will probably want to dance or drive their cars with the windows open to.
I definitely dance every time I hear Closer.
Yeah. But then there's stuff that's, you know, like quintessential Tegan and Sara. There's some real heart-wrenching, you know, heart-throbbing, sad, self-deprecating, you know, breakup songs. But I think this record has a positivity to it that people haven't seen from Tegan and Sara. I think it's pretty anthemic, and you know, our goal was to make something completely different than what we'd done in the past, and I think we did it.
But you've been doing a lot of work outside of the album too lately. I've noticed. You heard you covered Rolling Stones songs for the HBO series Girls.
We did?
Yeah.
Yeah. Called Fool to Cry.
Fool to Cry, yeah.
Daddy, you're a fool to cry. You're a fool to cry.
I had never heard the song, and when I listened to it, it's a lot of like talking. Like the song is a lot of like talk verses and stuff, and I was like, oh God, this is like, people are gonna think we're like, like we're gonna sound like goofballs.
I know you worked with David Guetta on a song called Every Chance We Get We Run. It's on his album Nothing But the Beat 2.0. How was that? How was working with him?
It was cool. I mean, I have to admit that like our other collaborations, we do it all sort of separate from the artist. So like oftentimes these kinds of producers / DJs, they just send us tracks and we just write, you know, send our ideas back and forth until we have a finished track. So I've never physically met him. But it's cool. It's a great record, and we were glad to be included. It's been awesome to do so much dance music stuff, you know, because we grew up in obviously 80s and 90s, so, you know, we listened to a wide spectrum of music, but dance music was super influential to us. So. Awesome.
And we were just talking about actually your DVD for Get Along has been nominated for Best Long-Form Music Video. Yeah. I'm going to let you guys explain this because you can probably articulate it much better than I can.
We've decided that long title is basically like Best DVD. I think that's what the category is. It just sort of sounds like more fancy and sort of old-fashioned, I think. But we were confused too. We kept staring at the category going like, wait, is this for the DVD, or is this for like the video portion where we're in India, or is this for the concert? Like, we just couldn't figure it out, but we got clarification directly from Grammy, and Mr. Grammy said that it's definitely for the DVD, for the whole package. So we're thrilled, we were totally surprised, and we've never been nominated for a Grammy before, and it's definitely one of those things that, other things that happen in your life, you know, maybe your mom's excited, or maybe your friends are excited, or, you know, maybe no one's excited. But this is one of those unifying moments where everybody kind of goes, right on, you got nominated for a Grammy.
Well, congratulations on your Grammy-nation.
Thank you very much, thank you.
And it is so the whole package is kind of a live CD and DVD, and
there's like 3 films. Yeah, 3 films, a full live concert of us stripping down our favorite and sort of most popular, but also some obscure songs from over the last decade. And then there's also a documentary about a trip we took to India, where we toured there for the first time. We brought our mom and a couple of our best friends. It's wild. And then we also had a short documentary sort of with Sara and I narrating, looking back over the last 10 years, but while we were on tour with Paramore a couple summers ago. So it's a big package.
Yeah, hard work paid off with a Grammy-nation.
Yeah,
Grammy. Yeah, we feel gramified.
Yeah. Gramified.
I'm really hating myself for doing all of that.
I love it. So let's get back to the music quickly. We'll chat a little bit more, but I really want to play this acoustic version of Hell from an Ames acoustic session back in the day, way back in the FNX archives.
I know you feel it too. These words get overused. We get up and over it and over them. Up and over it and over them. I know you
ago, I extended this interview out to our fans, to our listeners. So I asked some of our Twitter followers what they wanted to know about you, and some of them had some pretty interesting questions. So let's see. Catherine asked what bands you've been listening to lately. I always think that's an interesting question.
Sure. I mean, we've had like a whole bunch of really great records, it feels like, that have come out. Like the Stars just put out a great record, and Dragonette just put out a great record.
Love the new Taylor Swift record.
Sarah's loving Taylor Swift.
I do. I think it's a fantastic
Alicia
record.
Keys, Rihanna, lots of girls, lots
Kendrick
of really great
Lamar's
stuff.
new record is great. I really love the new Flying Lotus record. I mean, we listen to a lot of like
Shiny Toy Guns just put out a new
we
record.
listen to a lot
Finally.
of like super mainstream
So
stuff,
good.
but also like lots of the like more left of center.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good variety.
Yeah, I think we did
Yeah.
pretty.
Oh, this was a good one. Jessica on Twitter wanted to know what was the most challenging part of making the new album.
Oh boy. Well, you know, actually, this was probably one of the least challenging records we ever made, just because it was. We had a lot of time to prepare, and we had a lot of time to go through the material. I mean, maybe the hardest part is selecting from the material that we write, because we generally write 30, 40, sometimes more songs for an album. So being able to sort of like pare it down and say these are the strongest 10 or 15 songs, that can be probably the most difficult part.
Naming a record, this one was
Naming a
hard.
record was
Heartthrob
hard.
took forever.
That's true, but the actual recording and the actual studio time and working with the different producers, so fun. It was not a hard record. No tears. I don't even think we cried once. I think I did get shingles while we were in the studio, but, so I guess I was stressed out.
That was the hardest part.
Actually, that was the hardest
Shingles.
part. Shingles was the hardest part. Yeah, definitely.
Sounds challenging.
Yeah, it was hard. It really hurt.
So do you have like a million songs that you've written that have never been on a record because you write so many and then have to pare it
There's
down?
a lot.
There's a lot.
There's a lot.
There's lots. Lots are not that great, but some are good. You know, some are cool.
Yeah, I'm sure all of them at some point, like, could have been great. It's not nice to just say they're not great.
I mean, some of mine are not great, but there's always
Mine are all amazing.
there's always little ideas or little melodies that you know I'll listen back to the demos and it'll sort of be like, oh yeah, that little hook or that little melody was something worth writing. But then I'll just be like, oh, the rest of it's garbage.
That one line. I mean, there's often one particular line in a song that just jumps out to me. And
Right, and there's always, I think that we're very good at writing stuff with at least one little hook in there, but sometimes the rest of the song will be a bit throwaway, and so then you won't necessarily like.
Well, that was like one of the tracks on the new record, Heartthrob. The track's called "I Couldn't Be Your Friend," and it was a completely different song. But a few people, we have like a big, I call them, you know, our democratic board who like listen through to the songs, like our record company, our manager, Sarah and I, some friends, my mom, like everybody votes. We literally had a spreadsheet, like it literally got like intense. But there was one song that if just only two of them picked that I ended up reworking, and it was just one section of it that they really liked, and I built a whole song around it and ended up making the record. So there is reason and call to go back and sometimes revisit, you know, a song. Like some of Sarah's songs, the ones I'm sure she thinks aren't that good. I mean, I love everything Sarah writes. There are some pretty amazing moments like that happen that people don't hear, but you know, sometimes you just have this feeling like I'll just rewrite something, or I'll just write something new, like rather than going back and revisiting, but sometimes it can be good.
thanks so much for coming in and chatting with us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And everyone, make sure that you check out Tegan and Sara with the Killers tonight at the Aganis Arena. Check out their album Heartthrob when it comes out on January 29th. You can pre-order it on iTunes now, and I think I've promoted you guys enough now.
Thank you so
God,
much.
It's embarrassing. Thank you.
Closing it out with Closer, it's Tegan and Sara on WFNX.com.
All I wanna get is a little bit closer. All I wanna know is, can you come a little closer?